All right, folks, NAMM 2022. And we have, yes, and we have Mr. Laurence Juber. How you doing, sir?
I am doing just fine, thanks.
Now, tell us, what are you doing here in this particular booth here?
Just jamming with Greg Thatcher over there, just because, you know, my signature guitar and my strings are with Martin. So it's nice to have a little corner just to kind of strut our stuff.
Now, for those of you who may know your rock and roll history, you may recognize this gentleman who played with a band with a Sir, now I feel we should call him Sir Paul McCartney and Wings.
Well,
Now,
it wasn't Sir then.
yes, not then. But how did you come across Paul McCartney and how did you end up with Wings?
Well, you know, of course I was a Beatle fan from the time I was a kid. And I was a studio musician in London. I'm working on a TV show with an artist named David Essex, who was a big pop star then. And Denny Lane from Wings, previously with the Moody Blues, was a guest on the show. And we did Go Now, which was like his signature tune. He liked my playing and recommended me to Paul. And about 6 months later, I got called in for an audition. I got the phone call when I was doing a session at Abbey Road in Studio 2. So, you know, getting a call from Paul McCartney's office when you're at Abbey Road is kind of like cool, you know. My first meeting with Paul was very inauspicious. I was on a recording session at a studio in North London and went to the men's room on our musicians union break with the bass player Herbie Flowers, this great English bass player. And Paul was in there zipping up his fly. You know, so met Paul in the loo, but then, you know, it turned into some year, you know, a year or so later, turned into a gig.
What was it like touring, a typical day on tour with Wings?
You get up, you get on the bus after you have breakfast, you go to the gig, you do sound check, then you hang around for a while and you do the gig. I mean, it's, you know, it's like, it's a job like any other. I mean, you think it would be really glamorous, and it can be, but the traveling is, you know, but it was always comfortable with Paul. But, you know, at the end of the day, you get up on stage, and for those 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you're in the spotlight, you know, so you got to kind of keep yourself pretty level-headed.
What are you doing nowadays? What's going on with you?
I'm doing solo shows. You know, I play fingerstyle guitar, and I have put out 30 albums in the last 30 years. And, so I do solo shows. Once in a while, I'll do what I call airfoil, which is my Wings band, because Paul doesn't like us using the name Wings for a band, understandably. So I did the rock and romance cruise in February, which was fun. And I'm doing some tour dates on my own. I've been playing around LA with a friend of mine, T-Bear, who has just a killer band, playing electric guitar, producing, just in the studio with Albert Hammond. It Never Rains in Southern California, who's a great songwriter, one of the great songwriters. Doing some studio work, scoring some picture stuff. I mean, it's just kind of really varied. But my first love is playing guitar, so that's what I try and do as much as possible. You know?
For anybody out there who might want to maybe find out what you're doing, do you have a website or social media?
LaurenceJuber.com, LaurenceJuber.com. I also have been doing, during lockdown, I was doing Facebook Live 3 times a week, what I call Tea Time with LJ, 1:30 Pacific time on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It was like Moody Monday, Workshop Wednesday, and Fingerbuster Friday. And I just put out an album called Select Blends, which is kind of a virtually live album that's taken from those performances. And about to record another album of my own, and just, you know, kind of just doing my thing. And then my daughter Ilse is a songwriter, very successful songwriter. She works with Miley Cyrus. She wrote Panic at the Disco's High Hopes, Mercy for Shawn Mendes, for Miley and Mark Ronson, Nothing Breaks Like a Heart, Midnight Sky for Miley. Just really hashtag proud dad. You know. Just was nominated for 2 Grammys. She wrote all my favorite songs for Weezer. You know, it's what she does. And so my elder daughter is writing musicals, and my wife and I have written some musicals too. And so it's just a life in music, you know. But if you go to my website, you can see if I'm playing anywhere, join my mailing list, click through to my online store, you know.
Well, there you go, folks. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Thank you very much.